Hello, I am Kodili-nye. Welcome back to a vlog today, and what we are going to is a reaction video, and we are going to join the ABS Anambra Broadcasting Service, Nigeria, to hear what Soludo Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State, his lecture or address in Abuja on the graduation ceremony of Veritas Catholic University, Abuja, Nigeria. We won't waste much of your time because this is a long one, but we are going to give you the first part and we can divide it in many parts if possible, so that you don't spend so much time on watching this. I want to use this opportunity to welcome all of you and ask you to always share your own opinion, like, comment, and share. Remember to subscribe to this channel and continue to support us. I welcome all the new subscribers to this channel. So let us go to ABS and listen to what Soludo has to say. Remember, I am so Kodili-nye, the son of the wonderful. Stay tuned.
Let me use this moment to congratulate all the, I understand, 800 graduating students for having been found worthy in character and learning to deserve the degrees of this university. I've said congratulations. Maybe in a moment we'll know whether it is congratulations or commiserations, and I will come back to this later. Like I said at the beginning, 2 days ago I was discussing with your Vice Chancellor, Reverend Father Professor Hyacinth Ichoku, who has told you a story of when I was his own lecturer. But I must say, this university must be very, very lucky, and you, the students and graduates, you must have been lucky to have him as your Vice Chancellor. One thing I can say, and I hope he has been able to transfer this to this place, I remember that in his class, in his set then, I had to set up a special team. That was the era when we were beginning to see this massive cheating by students during the exams. And we had to set up what was called the integrity group. And Prof. Ichok and a few of them happened to be in the integrity group. They were the ones who were also very angry, who never wanted the other students to cheat. And then during the exams, I will intersperse them within the crowd. And if there was anybody cheating around any line, if I showed up, if the person is by the right-hand side, the person will wink with his right eye. If the person sitting on his left was cheating, you wink with your left. And I will just walk straight and stand behind the person cheating. And after a while, there was the myth that you don't cheat in Professor Soludo's class because we don't know whether he's a spirit. Once you cheat, he will just come and catch you. Thanks to the integrity group of which now Professor Ichok was a member. And I want to believe that the same discipline and integrity he must have brought to bear in the affairs of this university. Thank you, Prof. Graduation speeches must have become a cliche now. I am not sure I remembered what was said at my own graduation lecture, nor even who delivered it. In some, graduation lectures have become motivational speeches on how the fresh graduates should seize the moment and conquer the world, with a litany of principles and practical guides to successful living. There are dozens of self-help books, and with phones in your hands, you can Google and educate yourselves even better. Or better still, with variants of artificial intelligence platforms, AI can help you piece together a better to-do list for fresh graduates. So increasingly, graduation speeches might become a waste of time for everyone. I will therefore disappoint you since I will not rehash those how to succeed homilies here. To be honest with you, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I was expecting almost a near empty hall because people don't go for lectures these days. Huh? So, commendation, I want to commend all of you who have attended. And I have you hostage now for the next few minutes. For me particularly, what should a state governor at this moment in Nigeria, where governors are largely the butt of many jokes, be telling fresh graduates? Second, my generation of the 1960s, 1970s, and even older ones constitute what I describe as the limited edition, end of quote, generation. We are the limited edition generation. Someone noted that we are the last generation to listen to and take care of our parents, and the first that are forced to listen to and even take care of our own children until death. So, I just wonder whether we should now reverse the roles. You do the talking while I do the listening. Except if you are prepared to endure this boring thing, then I say, just hang on. But as I stand before you today, my dear friends, the graduates and fellow students, I feel some parallels between my own graduation time and yours today. Yes, I graduated 40 years ago in 1984. And I recall the hope and despair we all felt as we came from our various postings for National Youth Service for the convocation ceremony. The military government then was groping for answers to Nigeria's myriad and seemingly intractable social, political, and economic problems. It was the year of severe austerity measures with long queues for the so-called essential commodities such as rice, salt, milk, vegetable oil, etc., as well as rationing of foreign exchange. In fact, as at that year, 1984, you had to queue up to even be able to buy rice and so on. And if you were caught with foreign exchange, you were sent to jail. The Nigerian Electric Power Authority, NEPA, was derisively described as meaning never expect power always. If it was in those days when the light went off a minute ago, they would have shouted, NEPA. While the less than 200,000 available telephone landlines were largely moribund, the federal government of Nigeria removed subsidy on student feeding in the universities, and the subsequent Structural Adjustment Program, SAP, came with all the SAP-related riots and protests. ASO strikes closed universities for months and years. That was the beginning of an era when jobs for university graduates could no longer be taken for granted. There was acute scarcity of basics with rising inflation, unemployment, and poverty, while war against corruption and indiscipline was launched. This was the year we all thought that Nigeria had fallen apart. 1984. Sonny Okosun summed up the collective despair and hopelessness in his famous song then, that same year, entitled, Which Way Nigeria? And I urge you to Google and listen to that song that was sung 40 years ago, and you will see the parallel with today. You might think that that was sung maybe a year or so ago. Then fast forward to today, 40 years after. You are now graduating in 2024, the year that Nigeria finally summoned the courage to end decades of debilitating and destructive petrol subsidy, as well as forex and electricity subsidies, without the consequential shocks, including, once again, rising headline and food inflation, as well as poverty and unemployment. Flashback to what I just described was the situation in 1984. It is also the year of the big floods, which have affected 34 states and displaced nearly 2 million Nigerians. Criminality has become the new economy, unquote, with banditry, kidnapping, and drug epidemic. Much of our public service has become transactional rather than transformational, and it is increasingly becoming difficult for people to render service except if it benefits them personally. The quest for money as an end is deafening, and for a growing percentage of our youths, their motto in life has become get rich young or die trying. Have you heard that before? Okay, you have had it, but I'm sure you are not the ones who have that motto. For many, it is increasingly difficult to maintain balance, especially in a culture where virtue has little currency. The global market trends are such that only those who have scalable skills and continuously innovate and adapt will survive. The United States has just elected Donald Trump as president with some trepidations and hopes for what it portends for the world. And soon, my dear graduates, you will face some uncomfortable truths. For starters, as I watched the presentations, I saw many of you outside there, saw your faces. For starters, very uncomfortable to tell you, much of your dream jobs are not there. And about 80% of you will not practice what you studied. Okay? Just hang on, put on your seatbelt. It is scary, and I am not sure how adequately the university has prepared you for survival in chaotic times. As I draw the parallels between my time of graduation and yours, I am not sure whether to say congratulations again or commiserations. But what you make of the current situation depends on whether you see it as a challenge or an opportunity. For me, Nigeria remains black man's greatest opportunity. I will come in a second. For our graduates, the next 1 year of National Youth Service may be the year for resetting. You will meet new people, you will stumble on new ideas, good and bad, and you may even try some adventures. One day a week, you will have what we used to call a day for, quote, community service. Make that day count. It might be your rehearsal for selfless public service. Start with volunteerism. Volunteer to serve at every opportunity. Do something good for the benefit of society from which you do not expect to be paid. It is a pivotal year for your life, your balcony moment, as they will say in business schools, and you must make it count. During my own youth service at the then University of Ife, now Abafemi Awolowo University Ife, I elected voluntarily to attend all the MSc classes in the Department of Economics, although I was not a registered student. And perhaps, eventually, part of the impetus for me to resign from Coopers and Librand after 5 months to go back for postgraduate studies as a full-time student may have come from my NYSC experience. My tailor, I told you, many of you will end up not practicing what you studied. My tailor here in Abuja Mr. Adekunle from Osun State. He's a graduate of geology from the University of Maiduguri. He sold used clothes during his NYSC in Akwa Ibom, and from there learned tailoring during the same service year. Today, he has, I just confirmed that 2 days ago. Today, he has more than 150 tailors, 30 graduates in management positions, and other staff, all totaling a little over 200 working for him. He studied geology. He is now my tailor. And an employer of labor. I can cite over 100 similar examples. In fact, the one that showed this one that I'm wearing, is not only a lawyer, he actually resigned from his job as a magistrate. He resigned from his job as a magistrate to set up a tailoring company. Today, his tailoring thing, I think they have a branch in Enugu, head office in Enugu, in Lagos, and in Abuja. I think many even more. Even in outdoors, even shoes, and so on and so forth. So, thus, my dear graduates, what happens in this 1 year of your national service might determine whether Nigeria ends up as half empty, or as a half empty or a half full glass for you. Still on your personal survival, let me add a little digression. Many of you probably only studied or read seriously while preparing for examinations and believe that henceforth the torture is over. We used to say the same thing. In our case, in our times, there used to be the almighty June. And after June, after our degree, I know somebody, after our last exam, he just took his beak and broke it. Said, that's it, it's finished. I have bad news for you. Your bachelor's degree, BA, might in the end mean begin again. In today's world, there is a huge connection between continuous learning and earning. If you stop learning, you start decaying. And you can sum up in a slogan, learn more to earn more. I've heard several of the richest people in the world brag about how many books, how many non-fiction books they read in a year. And I will not say anymore. So as you venture into the uncertain world, dear friends, our fresh graduates, you will need all the help that you can get. You will need all the networks and partnerships you can get. Success in life is not just about what you know, which is what they have taught you here, but even more so about whom you know. As the saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You need people, keep the networks, keep the friends, make new ones, know new people. So you will need the help of others to get ahead. Soon you will start looking for jobs or other help from people to jumpstart a new life. For some decades, I have always had young people approach me to help them find a job. And when you ask them, what do you want to do? A common answer has always been anything. Anything. Can you help me? So what do you want to do? Anything. And of course, let me say, anything cannot take you anywhere. Because as the saying goes, if you don't have a destination in mind, any road will take you there. So my only tip to you on this occasion is to always seek intentionally to add value. Before you approach someone for help, there is a minimum investment or preparation you must make to be ready to be helped. When you approach people, start with what value you will bring to the table, how you intend to help them. This might sound counterintuitive because you are seeking for help. Paradoxically, that is also how you make money. was very glad seeing the presentation before we came here. They didn't just finish the presentation and tell us, give us money, help us. They had a value proposition. They said, invest, and I will give you back what? Value. You will get 300% return on investment. I saw that ROI. And when you have figures, that's what my friends will tell you. And I think that's what your Vice Chancellor said. When I don't pass through numbers and fail to remember. I saw that ROI is 300%, and I remember that. So you started very well with value proposition. You are not just asking the audience, come and help us. You are proposing value. Making money cannot be an objective. Adding value is what makes money. Think of it for a moment. The richest people in the world, that is those who got rich through enterprise, not through rent or criminality, are those who set out to solve specific problems for society, and money followed them as a reward naturally. Think of the inventors, the software developers, the industrialists or developers who set out to connect people socially, like Facebook, Twitter, and so on. The industrialists, the consultants, the tellers, the traders, or anyone seeking to create value for customers, and how money followed them consequently. So the next time you approach someone for help, my dear graduates, start by telling them what you can also do for them, and you will see that they are more likely to listen to you than if you approach them for charity. When you are going to apply for a job, spend time to research how you can help to improve the fortune of the company. Instead of just, quote, applying for a job, help me, give me a job. Write them a proposal on what you can offer, and you will see the difference. I want you to try this. Next time when you approach people, start by saying, I can help you do this and that and that. You will see somebody saying, come on, let's talk more. But when you get on to say, help me, you are asking for charity. 9 out of 10, you'll probably not get it. But when you come with value, 9 out of 10, somebody is going to say, come in through the door. Try it, and we can compare notes in time to come. Sorry, I veered into the advisory, which I promised not to get into. But to proceed much further to our graduates, beside your personal thing, let me share some interesting statistics that may jolt you to some other action beyond your personal survival. And without a doubt, the first need of man is survival and safety. Maslow prioritized human needs as physiological needs, them which include air, food, drink, shelter, clothing, sleep, and health. Then safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Again, the reality is that given Nigeria's current income distribution, more than 60% of you may not go beyond satisfying the first need, and which is physiological needs. When I was governor of the central bank, we had a study that gave us a casual inference about income distribution or inequality in Nigeria beyond the Gini coefficient. Listen to this. We looked at all the millions of bank accounts in Nigeria, and we divided them between those that had 300,000 balances of 300,000 and below, and those with over 300,000. You know what we discovered? Do you know? 92% of the millions of depositors in Nigerian commercial banks had bank balances of 300,000 or less. 92%. But this same 92% of depositors controlled the total sum of money in their bank account, if you pull them all together, constituted just about 7% of the total deposits. Why the 8% whose balances were 300, over 300, controlled 93% of the total deposits. I understand that a similar exercise was repeated several years later with a threshold of 500,000 and the distribution was largely unchanged. Someone can crudely interpret these statistics this to mean that about 8% of our population controls 93% of income, while 92% of the people controls just about 7% of income. Crude as the statistics may seem, it tells 1,000 stories and highlights the context of a society in which our new graduates must thrive and excel. I know many of you will already be casting and binding and praying that it is not your portion to end up among the 92% or among the many that may remain unemployed or underemployed for several years after your national youth service. The point here is that if we all do not work to alter the meta-level architecture that produces such outcomes, such a very skewed outcome for our society, much of our efforts at individual survival might be circumscribed. And this brings me to part of my core message to you today, dear friends, and that is that the current situation in Nigeria is not destiny. Everyone, I mean everyone, including you, the fresh graduates, can and must do something about it. Nation building is too serious a business to be left to the politicians or public servants alone. And it is this call I make to you. That's why I had to apply for this new job. I'll come to that in a second. A new social contract with basic socio-economic rights is possible in Nigeria. And luckily, you are graduates of Veritas University, whose mission, broadly interpreted, is to mold new Nigerians that will create a new Nigeria. And let me bore you by reminding you as you leave this wonderful premises of the Veritas University, reminding you of the mission of your university as boldly stated on your website. Quote, I love this. On your website, you state that, quote, the mission of Veritas University is to provide these students with an integral and holistic formation that combines academic and professional training with physical, moral, spiritual, social, and cultural formation, together with the of Christian religious principles and the social teachings of the Catholic Church. Continues. Based on Christian inspiration and Christ's sacrificial witness, the university shall promote authentic human and cultural development, modeled on the person of Christ, and shall champion the cause of justice and uprightness in society, work to empower the weak and the marginalized, and promote dialogue and collaboration in human relationships at various levels and among various cultures and religions. Thus, graduates from the Veritas University Abuja, after successfully completing their studies, should be able to use the knowledge for the upliftment of themselves and the Nigerian society, end of quote. Wow. The Vice Chancellor, members of council, members of the university. The public purpose mission of your university, my dear friends, is a bold statement of progressive social thought. Combine the Catholic social teachings with Rick Warren's book on, quote, the purpose-driven life, and lest with chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria on the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, and you'll have a robust progressive ideology and manifesto.
Yeah. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
can be
I am so
mandatory
Kodili-nye.
in one of the general studies courses
You have
of your
heard
university.
from Soludo. We might be bringing
If
second
you are
part of the
students
speech
at
at Veritas
Nigerians,
University
take them
Abuja.
as their compass in
So
pursuit
thank you
of
very much
private
for
and
joining
public
us,
good. A new
and
Nigeria
I'll see you in the
will
next
indeed be
one,
on the way.
and God bless you.
These
Bye.
documents motivate us